Bum 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 bum. This is the fourth Harry Potter. Here comes our host. I thought you'd come in by now. I
wasn't sure where you were going with that.
I said come in whenever you want to.
She didn't want to, obviously.
Obviously, didn't want to. Yes.
All right, sorry.
I expected you to go to the do 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 do, and I was gonna come in and just go full whale with you, just just butt rocket, yeah.
Butt rocket.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
If you couldn't guess from that beautiful musical introduction,
'Twas musical.
We're doing Aladdin.
oh shit!
Again,
I got the wrong note.
because we fucked up the first time.
No, this is Harry Potter, the fourth one.
4.
There's a goblet, and it's on fire.
On fire.
And that's
Yes.
Nikki.
I'm Nikki. That's Jessica.
And I'm Thomas.
Woo woo.
Woo woo!
Yeah.
We're back from our break.
Yes.
Yes.
We're sorry. Oh, we were on vacation.
We were on
Yeah.
vacation.
Yes.
I
I
I
wondered
don't think
if
we
were-
actually told them where we were going / where we went.
Well, if they
No,
would
we
have been
kind of-
following us on the social
Well, we kept it on
media,
the down low in all the previous
We did.
episodes.
We did keep it on the super DL.
just in case our daughter Evelyn decided to listen to one of our episodes. And surprise
Somebody
us.
finally listens to us and downloads the fucking podcast thing, and it's your kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, we did go to Disney World.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Disney World.
It was fun.
magical world of Disney. It was
It
50% fun.
It was mostly
No,
fun.
I think it was at least 70% fun.
I would say I
fun.
had at least 70% fun. Yes.
Yeah, we had we'll give them a quick version of vacation because the paying customers get the full version of
Right.
vacation because it's a
All
Patreon
right.
episode this month.
Quick version. We left in the evening from Michigan and drove straight
Yeah.
through to Florida. No stops other than potty breaks
Yep.
And food.
That was
with a 3-year-old.
It's-
And actually, I will say, she did pretty freaking great, all things considered.
on the way down.
She did.
Actually, on the way back, she did
I
great.
think both ways she
considering-
did very well.
All things
considering.
considered, I would say both. Yes, both directions. She was pretty phenomenal. So yeah, we the first day we did Magic Kingdom.
And it was so magical.
It was pretty
It was-
freaking magical.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty
per
good.
usual.
Pretty good day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I cried through most of the park like I
She did.
usually do.
I also did quite a few
Jessica
cries.
was super adorable to observe, seeing all the princesses and going on the rides.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That was a quick version.
That was
Yeah.
the quick version.
Evie got to meet all the princesses.
Evie got to meet all the princesses.
We only missed 3 princesses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
the whole
impressive.
trip.
We met
missed
1
3.
because she kind of sucks, and 2 because they weren't at the parks we were at.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And then day 2 was
Evie slept through Epcot Day.
yep.
yeah,
Epcot
that
was fun though.
Yeah,
I liked Epcot.
that was the day
I like
where-
Epcot.
I do too. I liked it a lot.
I liked it better than I remembered liking it last time.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
sad.
last time we were there, it was raining.
That
you
would also
remember.
put a
So that
literal
would-
damper on
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because 90% of it's outdoors.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I get it. But yeah, it was
and,
fun.
Yep. And then Evie got sick that day. And then the next day, Jess and I went to Disney Springs so that she could get a Vegas Disney version.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the Las Vegas of Disney World.
Oh,
is
really?
Disney Springs. I saw that online the other day. I'm like, that's actually
That's weird,
probably,
but okay.
yeah,
I mean,
kind
Eh,
of.
yeah.
It's kind of like a cool nightlife version.
I guess it's
There
kinda,
was a Cirque du Soleil show that we saw.
I guess it's
heading
kind of
over
like
there.
Fremont Street in Vegas. I guess. But
Yeah. And then Evie was really sick, and we drove home the next day, and
she had the flu.
Yes.
she had the flu the day we got home, and it was a little rough for like the first 6 days we were home was really hard, and
Yeah.
then Jessica got sick, and
Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
to a much smaller degree, but yes. Yeah, so that's why this episode's coming to you late, is because
we couldn't record last weekend.
there were multiple factors. Part of which was we were just so like out of sorts after the vacation and the child being sick that we just straight up didn't realize what day of the week it was.
We knew, so we knew going on vacation that we needed to have Captain America ready to release while we were on vacation. So like that released while we were driving.
So I did that.
Yeah.
You did it, Tom.
And in mine and Jessica's heads, apparently, we thought we had a whole other week or something.
I actually thought so also, like even looking at our download software, I was like, we released on this day. 2 weeks from that is the 28th.
Yeah.
Which is
We had it planned.
The 21st is in fact 2 weeks from when we released Captain
We
America.
had it planned to record last weekend, and that was when I was like kind of at the height of my sickness, and I was like, oh crap, this is gonna be the second Harry Potter that I'm like sick for. And my voice was really rough like the day that we were talking about it, and I messaged her and I was like, this is gonna be really rough. And she was like, well, let's record it next weekend, but you'll only have a week to edit it. And I was like, that doesn't add up in my head, but it could
She didn't say that.
but it could be because I'm sick.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to record right now, so I'm going to agree to that.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, like after it was past our original recording date, I looked at the calendar and I was like, oh,
We did a whoopsie.
we did a whoopsie, but also I'm still sick and I don't want to say anything.
Moving on.
Yes.
So Harry Potter 4.
Harry Potter 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like the last episode when we did Harry Potter, I think we should reintroduce how we're doing the Harry Potter episodes
I
as
agree.
a mini-series so that people who maybe didn't listen to the first 3 books are coming in on this one, maybe they need to know, like, he didn't know them, I'm reading them and then doing them.
Right. No.
So
Or maybe they just need a refresher.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been listening, but they've forgotten, and they're like, what are these 3 assholes doing? So here's what we're doing.
language.
Look, this is more of a grown-up episode
true.
anyway.
This is yes.
Harry Potter is a different beast.
Harry effing Potter.
So these episodes are a little bit unique in that not all of us have absorbed all of the materials.
Yes.
So I am hosting these episodes because I'm the longtime Harry Potter nerd. I read the books when I was in like middle school, high school, that kind of, as they were coming out really, and watched the movies as they were coming out. And while I haven't seen or read them really since then, I've been a longtime fan.
Which Joe is very disappointed in you, by the way.
Joe can suck it. I love you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. You're a blessing to me. Meeting you was a gift, but also suck my dick.
if he listens to this episode. He might.
Yeah, he might. Nikki, on the other hand, did not read these. But she saw some of the movies when they came out.
I saw the first,
like the first
two movies. I had read the first book when I was younger, and I saw the first 2 movies when I was younger, and that was it. For this mini-series, I am reading all the books right now. So I just finished the 4th book, and I'm just watched the 4th movie for the very first time. So we are doing it in live order with Nikki.
Yes.
I am the very fresh, very, very brand new, fresh
hot
Nikki.
off the Potter presses.
Hot off the Potter presses. And Thomas.
Tell us about your Harry Potter experience.
And I'm just a fresh-faced, innocent young summer child.
That was a pretty good Moody impression. Yes, Thomas has neither read the books nor seen the movies.
No, nor have any particular interest in doing so.
Right. Until we forced him to.
Until they forced me to do it.
To be clear,
we were like, it's either this or Twilight.
which is our next series, guys.
And they're still forcing me to do Twilight.
Yes, just so everybody knows, our next series in our mini-series may or may not be Twilight.
Yeah,
and
we haven't
may
nailed
or
that
may
down.
not have decided to make Thomas be the one that has to read the books for it. He's not happy.
You shouldn't be happy. I've read them.
Right? I've read most of them. And just to be clear, Thomas said earlier, just a minute ago, that he has not seen the movies. He's watching the movie before we watch.
Yes, he watched before this.
Yes. So
he watched it for the first time.
Yeah, so
before.
he's
Yes.
just seen it for this first time.
Yes. I'll do a couple facts, and then I'll ask you your questions,
Go.
and then I'll finish off the facts.
This sounds like a fact sandwich that I'm all about.
I like a fact sandwich.
Don't you?
Yeah.
So this movie was released in 2005.
That was when we were graduating high school.
It sure
Yeah,
was.
way to date us.
Did
I know.
it just because you were there? I mean, we were all there, but you were like in the
We all
Harry Potter
existed
there?
at this
You
time.
were the one
but
that actually cared when it came
Yeah,
out.
was
Correct.
this like when we were graduating high school, or like were we in early college, or was it like in the middle of our senior year? Like where?
wow,
were we?
I didn't look up the exact date
Oh, I
that
just
it
thought
was
maybe
released.
you remembered. I thought maybe you remembered like when you
I
went to go
wanna
see it.
say-
Was
it
it
was-
like I have to get through the graduation ceremony super fast and I have to drive real fast to the theater kind of thing? Or
I believe that when I was waiting in line at the midnight release, it was fucking cold. So it was probably in this like around
like January,
like
February,
early spring. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a new director.
yes,
It's not Chris Columbus.
It's not Chris Columbus.
or
it's not
Frenchy,
Alfonso
or
Cuarón.
Frenchy French guy, or
Frenchie.
Spanish, I'm pretty sure.
Wow, Thomas.
Yeah.
Wow, racist.
Really?
Not every European country is the same. This was directed by Mike Newell, who is a Brit, the first British director of a British series.
interesting.
Interesting. He is best. Wow, Thomas is so fucking aggressive.
Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to give you more facts, but here they are. He's known for directing Four Weddings and a Funeral, Prince of Persia, and
Prince of Persia.
Did you watch
That's
Prince of
the one
Persia?
Is that the
My
one with,
boyfriend in it.
is
Jake
that the one with
Gyllenhaal?
Jakey Jake?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Yes, Jake
boyfriend's in it.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, as a Persian guy.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
in Europe. No?
And also Mona Lisa Smile.
I love that movie.
I have seen one of those.
Well, I was hoping for at least one. Not sure how he ended up on this one.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Nikki,
Me?
you just read this.
I did just read this.
What was your book experience?
My book experience is that this was the best book so far. I thought I really liked the third book.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody had told me up until now that the third book was their favorite books. People were like, "Oh, the third book's the best book," and so I read the third book. I'm like, "Yeah, the third book was really good." No. Then I read this book and ask anybody how often I was texting Jessica during this book. I'm like, "Oh my god, this and oh my god, that," and even my sister, I was texting everyone like, "I can't believe this is happening," and that. The maze and beyond in this book, like the whole end of the book was really good. I was crying the whole ending of this book. The book was really, 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 really good.
I will say, when I read this as a teenager, I did like it a lot. I don't know. I think the third book was like the first book that I really, really enjoyed, and I think that's why in my head it's like cemented as my favorite, because it was like the first one that I was like,
book. Yeah.
But I think if I reread them now, I do think that I would significantly like this one better, because going back and doing research for this and you talking to me about it, I was like, yeah, you're right. This book is pretty dope. Like, a lot of dope shit happens in this book.
Yeah.
And this is where shit starts to get real.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, everybody keeps telling me that everybody keeps saying, like, "Oh, it's going to get really dark now." And I'm like, "Oh, no. What's going to happen?" I have no idea what's going to happen.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I recall liking the fifth book as well. So I think you're just going to keep liking them.
Do the sixth and seventh books just suck balls?
No.
It's
It's like the story is just so drastically different towards the end.
Yeah. I am going to say, I was saying this to Thomas the other night when he was almost asleep, and I, of course, woke him up to say something to him at the last minute, because I love to do that to my husband.
It's my favorite thing that she does.
It's actually a lie. We were actually having a conversation. But I've been reading this book while I've also been reading The Hunger Games, which is, as all of you guys know, is my favorite book series I've ever read. And after going back and forth between these books and that book, I kind of like these a little bit more than I'm like The Hunger Games right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is because of the person that is audibly doing Harry
you did
Potter.
play both of them for me, and yes, this one is the guy who reads this is a little more animated.
Yeah, this guy is very animated, and he does a really good job. And the person that does the Hunger Games is very just. And now we're all sad and dead. And the capital is
also
there
the story
again.
of the
I know,
Hunger
but it
Games.
didn't seem like that when I remember reading that book or seeing the movie. Because I read those books like with my eyeballs,
Right.
and then now I'm listening to the books with my earballs, and I'm like, why does this book sound terrible?
I do think the Hunger Games. I think any book you're gonna probably like it the most the first time you read it.
Yeah, that's true.
Too.
Thomas, on the other hand, is reading Game of Thrones audibly right now, and he.
I got the audiobook of the first A Song of Ice and Fire book. And it just blows my mind how terrible the production is.
Yeah?
The voice actor that they got is like a really thick British accent. And all of his characters are just his British accent with like either a really high voice or a really gruff voice and no in between.
Like, he just doesn't change his voice at all. He just puts on a hat.
He doesn't change. He doesn't change his accent or anything. He just like changes his register up and down.
Yeah. Do you also want me to tell you what I thought of the movie in general? Because I won't be able to say what I thought of it.
Yeah, because that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I won't say I was disappointed in the movie, but there were some things that I was disappointed. There were some things that they left out that I was very happy that they left out for sure.
Yeah, I know what you mean when you say all of those things. I know exactly what you mean.
The ending, for example, though, and we'll get into it more when we get into it, the ending was not what I hoped it would be at the end, though. And that was very disappointing because I really liked the ending of the book. And I was just like, well, that wasn't as good as the ending was in the book. So
you didn't dislike the movie?
No, I didn't dislike it. I would say that this movie, I would say this was still pretty good. I'd say it was as good. I don't think any of them rank any better than the others to me.
Right.
I think the acting was better and all that, for sure. I think they're gradually getting better, for sure.
Thomas
will be quick.
Yes.
Not like me.
What did you think about the movie that you saw for the first time just now?
Well, I think I liked it more than the last one because I don't think I liked the third one very much.
Third one was very full of not enough information for you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I didn't like the third one very much.
Okay.
I still think so far the second movie is my favorite. This one was okay. There was just seemed like there was a lot of telling instead of showing.
That does seem to be their favorite thing to do in the movies.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because it's a book adaptation and books have to tell you everything, but I would like to have seen more visual storytelling instead of like something happening and then an actor telling me about it instead of actually showing me the thing that happens. And I feel like there's a couple things that happen that just like, now this is happening.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say I didn't feel as lost watching this
that's
movie.
good. You didn't sound as lost when I asked you about it.
She texted me about it afterwards.
Yeah,
She goes,
I definitely
totally lost?
I didn't feel as lost in this movie as I did with the last one.
As I was doing research, I was writing down the stuff that I thought was like, because I didn't want to write down every single thing that was different from the book because we'd be here all night. But I was like, I'm going to write down all the things that I think would be necessary for Thomas to know. And then maybe a couple just like really small tidbits that I know people who have read the books and are watching the movie are going to be like, Jessica, you forgot this.
Right.
Like, no, I didn't. I just don't want to be here all night.
Right. Guys, these episodes take us like 6 hours to record, and we edit them down to 3 hours for you.
There were very few things that as I was reading, I was like, Thomas needs to know this. Like going into future movies.
I think I have enough of a general understanding of the universe, particularly watching the movies and also you guys explaining the movies to me. Because I definitely think if I had just watched the movies on my own,
you'd be like, what the fuck?
I would not be able to follow what's going on at all. But I think with you guys also explaining to me the stuff the movies leave out, I feel like I have a general understanding of what's
cool.
So
of the world, at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The people who did the adaptations to the screenplays must have really banked on the audiences being mostly readers of the books, not random people who We're just like, oh, I want to go see a movie about
Right.
a little wizard boy named Harry Potter.
And, well, not only that, but I think that they realized that there were enough people who were readers that would go see it regardless, that they knew that they would make their money anyway.
Right, for sure. I have a really important question, though.
Okay.
Jessica, what did you think of the movie?
Nikki, thank you.
And the book when you were younger, in your sweet, sweet youth.
So I do remember liking this book. One of the, you know what, it was so weird. When I was a kid reading these books, there would be like one or two aspects of each book that would kind of make me go, ugh. And so I would either like speed read through chapters and I would like miss stuff, or I would just convince myself that this wasn't my favorite book because of this part. I think in this book, it was the spew stuff.
Oh, good, because that's what they cut from the movie, and thank God.
Yeah. I will say that it, and you're not going to know what any of this is, and I don't really feel like it's necessary to get into it.
Okay.
All it does is give you an aspect of Hermione's character, and it's not anything.
Wait, Hermione has a character?
Yeah,
Right.
Who knew? That was whenever I saw those, like anything regarding the house elves, really, I would speed read through.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I missed a bunch of stuff.
It really wasn't important.
So it's not my favorite book at the time, but again, I think if I read it now, I think I would really, really like. Seeing the movie, I think I liked this movie. If I remember correctly, I think I liked the movie. I mean, it had little changes, and there were some things that they added, which was weird, but yeah, I think in general, I did not have a huge problem with this movie when I was back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in
our senior year of high school.
This watch, the changes did not bother me as much as I thought they were going to. No, this was not a problematic movie for me. Sometimes bland, but not problematic in any way.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
So,
do you want to know what I said as we're sitting down to watch this movie and pushing the play button?
do I?
I was like, are you ready for some Dursley bullshit?
Oh, and were you pleasantly surprised?
I was so pleasantly surprised when there was no
movie.
Dursley bullshit in this movie.
The book does not open on the Dursleys. It's the first book to not open on the Dursleys.
Oh, yeah.
Not open on the Dursleys.
Okay. I'm like, they're in the book.
They are in the book.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, Your Highness.
I appreciate the omission of the Dursley bullshit.
I figured you would. I will, before we do that, I will get into a couple more general facts.
Oh, yeah. We were going to do more facts. Your fact sandwich.
My fact sandwich.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Way to go.
You got a note in your fact sandwich.
Technically, this not being like Dursley inclusive is like one of those facts.
Cool.
I believe the Dursleys were not included at all because they wanted more money.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. They were trying to fight for more money. And the people were like, well, we don't need you anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah.
You're barely in this book.
You're a problematic part of the story.
Right. So originally the studio wanted Goblet of Fire to be made into 2 films.
Ugh, that trope.
Yes. Do you want to know who you have to thank for that not happening?
Christopher Columbus.
No, the other one, Alfonso Cuarón.
Oh, yeah?
Convinced the new director not to do that. So, in the books, Percy is working as Barty Crouch Sr.'s assistant. The guy who does all the announcements for the guy with the Hitler mustache. The actor playing Percy was only contracted for 4 films, and he'd already appeared in the first 3. So he chose to wait until the 5th book because he had a little bit of a bigger role. Michael Gambon, who is playing Dumbledore, wore street clothes under his robes and kept cigarettes in his socks.
That's funny.
And
I thought his costume was weird. Like, I don't know if it's the same costume from the other movies, but it seems like his costume didn't fit him this movie.
Because he had street clothes on underneath it.
And all those cigarettes, Thomas. He was wearing belts of cigarettes.
It seemed like his costume was like, it fit him weird.
Yeah.
This movie. I don't know. It didn't seem like
I feel like everybody's costumes in this movie was weird because we started leaning towards like the kids wearing street clothes at Hogwarts, and it was really weird. Like, I
I
know
have a
they
whole
kind
thing
of
about
did
their
it.
Yeah, I
later.
noticed it
In the
later
third
in the movie.
movie.
It's like, why isn't anybody wearing their robes?
Right. Nobody's in
Yeah.
uniform. What the fuck is happening? Yeah.
Okay, other fact?
My last non-interdiscussional fact.
Last pre-roll fact.
Exactly. Is that this was Robert Pattinson's first movie.
Okay, let's talk about Robert Pattinson here for a hot second, okay?
Uh-huh.
Do you know how disappointed I was when Robert Pattinson walked his ass on screen?
I didn't realize you didn't know it was
I
him.
didn't. So, okay. So, in my brain, I knew. So, here's what I know about Edward Twilight. Edward Cullen?
Yes, you nailed
Edward
it.
Cullen. Okay. Edward
Twillen.
Edward Cullen.
Edward Cullen.
He's named after the donut.
The Cronut. Which was on Let's Make a Deal today when I was at the gym yesterday at the gym. Wayne Brady opened the box. Goes, a Cronut. Is this real? Or is this a prop? And I was like, it's real. He took a bite of it. He goes, I'm sorry, I'll get you another one. Anyway, so I'm not a big Twilight person. I was very against Twilight when Twilight was a thing.
Okay.
Like it was like a banned discussion situation when my sister was insane into Twilight. So was Shayna, and so was Gina. They were disgusting about it.
I believe
I'm not exaggerating. They were. It was like everything that came out of their mouths. And but I do remember hearing in a passing thing once or twice. Oh, Edward. Oh, you mean Cedric? Like, I remember hearing that in the past before. So but I didn't remember it. So when we're in the beginning of the movie and we're seeing everybody come on, and I knew that Cedric was one of the first ones that we saw from the book. And it was like, oh, Cedric. And I was like, oh, Cedric. And I was like, yay, Cedric. I got excited because I know what's going to happen with Cedric and stuff. And then Thomas goes, oh, Edward. And I was like, what? Thomas goes, yeah,
No.
it's the Twilight guy.
I said
Oh.
Batman.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said. He said Batman.
Because, I don't know if you know this yet, but Robert Pattinson is our new Batman.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm showing them the Batman leaked production photos right now.
Anyway.
That's all.
So Thomas was like, Batman, I guess. And I was like, what? And he goes, Robert Pattinson. And I was like, Twilight? And he was like, what? And I was like, and I was immediately disappointed because I was like, I'm supposed to like him and it's Edward.
Yeah. I know you messaged me. You were like, I can't believe they want me to feel things for this guy. And I'm like, to be fair, he was Cedric before he was Edward.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's okay.
He has his little baby face. Come on.
He was
Can
cute.
we call him Sedward?
Just for you, Thomas. I'll allow it.
Is that a thing that people say?
I don't know.
It should be. That's a good portmanteau right there.
That is? Okay. Into the movie we jive.
So, as Thomas pointed out earlier, we open not on the Dursley house,
Thank God.
but on the Riddle house. Yes,
It's very dark and foreboding,
it is.
and there's a very large snake,
There is.
and there's a guy walking through the house, and this gigantic ass snake like rolls right over his foot, and he's just like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
I'm like, I would not have been that quiet with that gigantic ass snake just rolling right over my foot.
Sometimes I forget that you're afraid of snakes.
Nick.
Yeah, good point.
Yep.
So we don't get any of like Frank's history and the history of the house.
Yeah.
Which is not necessary.
I would say it's not
it's one of those
super
things where it's
important.
like it's interesting to know, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
That's the guy who.
Frank is the guy who's
Frank
not,
is
who's
the
not
older
afraid of
man.
snakes enough.
He is the caretaker of the property. And the property is actually the Riddle household, which is where Tom Riddle or Voldemort grew up.
Yeah.
And Tom Riddle, when he was a teenager, went back to that house and murdered his dad. And Frank, the caretaker, was blamed for it. There was no proof, so he was never arrested, but he had been kind of shunned and like left to be a recluse on this property, and he's been taking care of it ever since. And
Okay.
so that's his history. But the big one that they changed in the scene is that fucking Barty Crouch Jr. is there in front of your eyeballs on screen.
Yeah.
As soon as we open up the fucking film.
Yeah.
We're not even 10 minutes in.
No. And I said...
This is the opening scene.
This is the opening scene. And there is the BBG, the big bad guy. He's right there.
Yep. And they show him in the field, too.
They show him constantly. Yeah. They mention him constantly. They mention Polyjuice Potion.
Right.
Constantly.
Yes.
It's so fucking infuriating.
The Polyjuice Potion isn't even mentioned in the book. They don't mention Polyjuice Potion at all in this book until the very, 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 very end. And they're like, oh, Moody must have been taking Polyjuice Potion.
You don't even know Barty Crouch Jr. exists until Harry goes into the pensieve with the memories.
Until he goes into the thing, the string thing.
And everybody thinks that Barty Crouch Jr. is dead, so it's never mentioned even after that. They're just like, well, it's just not a thing. You don't... That reveal at the end was like a major reveal. Even if you suspected Moody of not being everything he says he is, you did not know that it was Barty Crouch Jr. at all.
Yep.
So that's the most infuriating thing to me about this whole movie. That right there.
When they showed the guy in front of Baby in the cradle, Voldemort, and just
little alien baby Voldemort.
So gross. It was really gross when they showed it too.
It's my strong hand.
When they showed him too, I was like, "Whoa, that was grosser than I imagined it." Even. So yeah, when they showed him on screen, not in the house, but when they showed him in a minute later on, when they showed him in the field doing the death, what's it called, the death mark,
the dark mark.
When they showed that, I even said out loud, I was like, "Seriously, they're showing him right away?" And Thomas was like, "What?" I'm like, "Nothing. I don't know how they're gonna go around this. They're just showing us right away." And he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Just
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. But it's stupid."
I will say, somebody who didn't know it going in, I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Right.
This means nothing to me.
Okay.
So I thought the reveal was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm surprised, honestly. But then again, you could have forgotten what Polyjuice Potion was between then and now.
I think part of this goes to my not looking for mysteries and things.
That's also true. You don't do that.
I like to let movies happen to me. I don't try to figure them out.
What is that like?
I can't even. My brain doesn't even kind of. How do?
So Nikki probably would have figured it out 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that was a good reveal.
Why don't we switch places for the second half of the Harry Potter, and you read the books and I get to watch them? That would be fun. Right? Ooh, that could be kind of cool.
It could be. But whatever you want to do.
I know. The next book, though,
I know you really want to know what happens. Can I tell you something that I enjoyed was us experiencing this Thomas not looking into mysteries firsthand was our ride back to town. When we were listening to that book. And there were times when I was like, I know what's happening. And I would just like shout out my theory. And Nikki would be like, yeah. And then what if this? And she would shout out her theory. And Thomas is just in the back like, okay.
It's what like being married to him is like. There's no mystery. Pretty much know what's up all the time.
It was amazing. So yes, so we do briefly visit the Burrow, very briefly, like literally 2 seconds, basically on screen time. We're at the Burrow,
right? And it's so cool in the book.
I know it is. And then we meet up with Cedric and Amos, his dad, in the woods, and we go to find the port key. And Thomas.
Wait, what?
This is where the Weasleys, Harry and Hermione, go through the woods and meet up with Cedric and his dad. The port key is the boot.
I don't remember a boot.
We were talking about Batman at that point, so you might be...
I might have been distracted.
The boot works the same that the cup at the end did.
I assumed it was I assumed they were doing the flu thing.
No,
guess, or
they
something.
touched
I
a
don't
thing.
know.
This is your introduction to port keys, so that later when they touch the cup, you sort of understand what the fuck is happening.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do that, and we arrive at the World Cup, the World Cup of Quidditch, where absolutely no Quidditch happens.
Yeah,
Yes.
we built that whole big, really terrible CGI. Don't get me
It
wrong.
was very built up.
Very built up, and we skipped the whole thing with.
This is the first instance of the movie telling me instead of showing me.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like, hey, Quidditch is happening,
Yeah.
but we're not going to show
There was
you.
so much Quidditch in this part in the book that I texted Jessica and I said, if this whole fucking book is about Quidditch, I'm not reading this book.
And that's why, is because no other Quidditch happens at all throughout the rest of the book.
There was so much Quidditch in the book that I didn't
She got
want
to
to.
hit her Quidditch quota.
The Quidditch part, not entirely necessary, but it was kind of fun seeing it at like a professional level. Pretty
Thomas,
funny.
on the other hand, did not realize it was professional.
Oh, okay.
And he said out loud to me, so is this like Ravenclaw versus Hufflepuff or what? And I was like, no, love. No. This is like the big kids.
Yeah.
like profesh, yo.
Mm-hmm.
But I am confused because Crumb is there and Crumb goes to like a wizarding school as well.
He essentially is like a scholarship kid, I think, basically. Like he was drafted.
Oh, so
While
like
he's
he goes to Detroit Country Day School, but he plays for the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Got it.
Also the tent. Henna tent, right?
Right.
Dream henna tent.
Thomas was writing notes when they started to walk into the tent before they revealed the inside, and I was like, look up. And he was just like, what?
This is our hashtag goals,
No,
Thomas.
I wanted him to see that it was going to be big on the inside. And what did you say that it looked like on the inside? You said it was like a...
Oh, I said, it's bigger on the inside, like a TARDIS.
And then,
Yeah! It's funny because David Tennant's in this movie.
That's also what I said. These are the two things I know about Doctor Who.
I was going to say it's like a bowling alley because bowling alleys always look small from the outside and are giant.
It's just like a bowling alley.
That's what I was going to say. Dude, it's true and you know it. Roller rinks and bowling alleys. You always walk in, you're like,
It is true.
this fit in this
It's
building.
true.
Pretty true,
Yeah.
So shit goes down at the World Cup.
Yes.
The mysterious...
Does it though?
So,
The Ku Klux Klan comes.
yeah.
Oh, yes, that.
So, yes, a rowdy group of Death Eaters kind of start wreaking havoc, and everybody...
I didn't really like the way this scene was shot.
I also
Personally,
didn't.
It just seemed kind of thrown together, throwing around the word Death Eater, like we were supposed to know what that was. I'm like, I think I sort of, you guys explained to me what a Death Eater was during the last movie.
Right.
I don't think it's ever been mentioned in the movies before.
Right.
Like we were. Like,
No, you might be correct. You might be correct.
They
It might
haven't
not have explicitly said what a Death Eater is.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I don't think they have.
No.
But
It also didn't seem important because it doesn't cause anything
it doesn't
to
go
happen, and
anywhere.
like everybody
Yeah.
ends up going back to Hogwarts. But I feel
Right.
like if they had just stayed and watched the game, they would have gone back to Hogwarts anyway.
I agree.
Thomas was even confused when all the other schools showed up. He's like,
Yeah.
are they all here because of what happened at the World
Yeah,
Cup?
I thought that because that
don't
happened
explain
directly
that
after
right
this
away.
attack, I
Yeah.
thought, oh well, people are afraid that they're going to get attacked at these other places too, so they're coming to Hogwarts for protection. But that's not what
it's not
was
at
happening
all.
at all. But,
No.
yeah.
So
So the attack was completely pointless.
it was kind of because the main reason for the attack was that, and they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
They just wanted an excuse to say Death Eater a lot, apparently.
I guess, and to show Barty Crouch Jr. again for. God, I hate that.
Oh, this is when we saw it up in the sky, the death mark. Death mark?
Dark Mark.
Dark mark. Kids have asked me to henna that on them before, and I've had no fucking idea what it was this whole entire time.
Yeah.
And when I saw it last night, I was like, oh, I've had to henna that on kids before.
Have you?
I've
You should tell them, sorry, I don't do Death Eaters. Like I don't henna Death Eaters, so no. But yeah, so suddenly everyone's at Hogwarts.
Right, and now we're at Hogwarts and everything's
Yes.
fine. And now we
And
have
literally-
guests.
no,
And now
literally
we have
everybody's
more
at
people
Hogwarts.
at Hogwarts.
In the book, we actually get like a few months of the school year.
Okay.
before they arrive. Because is anybody else like, what the fuck is this? Like, are all these other students doing while everybody else is in class and
It's
shit?
really weird because in the book they say...
Yeah.
No, they come right away in the book, I'm pretty sure. I think that they do.
They come a few months later.
Do they?
Yeah.
I know that. So they introduced the Tri-Wizard tournament is going to happen, and they say like the 3 champions that are going to be chosen for it. You guys actually also get to be excused from end of the year tests as well. Like nice. They don't have to do anything all school year long, but basically worry about this challenge, and that's it. And like,
which seems fair because they could die.
I mean, that's true.
Right.
But yeah, it is kind of, I think Thomas and I even said something to each other halfway through the movie, like, why are all these other students even still here? Like,
yeah. And you don't see them, like, going to class with the Hogwarts students.
Right.
Also, the Hogwarts student body seems like
Smaller?
It's been cut in, like, thirds.
I wonder if they did that in this movie, though, just so that they could have these other schools there, and it didn't look like it was, like...
Possibly.
1,000
But wasn't it weird? Like, there were only, like, 5 people in the stands at these, like, major events.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
It felt very underwhelming.
Yeah. Hogwarts definitely seemed like it would it was underpopulated.
Right.
Yeah. I thought when all these other schools came in and they're doing all their, it was like, and then when the
That's Thomas
when the
doing
Russian
the
guys
Boba
come in and they got their staves and they're all like, and they're doing all their twirly shit, and I was like, why are we doing this?
That's a really good question, Thomas. Because
these are really unnecessary displays, and they do not look good.
Oh my god!
It doesn't happen in the books, and I was really confused when it was happening in the movie, and I was like, did I miss like this weird ritual thing that happens in the book or something? I just thought everybody showed that.
No, it wasn't there. That does not happen at all.
Because that's really dumb.
It's super dumb. It's really, really dumb, and also, Bobaton is not an all-girl school. And
also
Durmstrang is not an all-boys school.
Yeah, also that. I was really confused. I was like,
that's not how they're represented in the movie.
No, it's not. You think that Bobaton is totally an all-girl school?
I was really,
not at all.
really confused, and I was like, did I miss that? It's really hard reading the book audibly. Mm-hmm. I've said this 1,000 times. But hearing it, and I'm like, maybe I'm missing details, and I don't realize that I'm missing details, but I feel like I'm reading them, and then we're watching them right away, and I feel like I'm trying to stay right on top of it, you know,
right.
But yeah.
So stupid.
I even wrote what the fuck after they came out.
It was like, literally just to make the teenage boys hard.
I've seen, and when they showed that, I've seen that before, like that little thing. I've seen like a blip of it. I must have seen a GIF or a meme or something. Like I recognize something about it, but I know I haven't seen this movie before. Right. So
at least the guys did something that required some sort of skill.
It was still dumb though.
It was very dumb. So after this awkward introduction, we get another awkward introduction, and Mad Eye Moody arrives.
I know that the cafeteria.
Nailed it.
The Hogwarts
super cafeteria. You're right. Yeah, it's just the cafeteria.
Yes, the Wizarding Cafeteria.
The Wizarding world of cafeterias.
It has like an enchanted ceiling or something like that. You mentioned that before.
Yes,
but
the Great Hall.
The Great Hall.
Yeah.
Yes. An enchanted ceiling. So anyway, the Great Hall
of China
has an enchanted ceiling that is just like supposed to show like scenery or whatever.
Right.
Usually it seemed a little odd that it was all of a sudden lightning striking people or whatever it was that it was doing. That was just like a 2-second thing, like blippity blip, and then he's just like bleh, and then that's it. And then
it was really weird because usually it reflects the sky outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made no sense. It was just one of those little things that they threw in to kind of hint it at him being the bad guy because we're stupid and we need to be told what's happening.
Yeah.
Because God forbid we're actually surprised at the end of something.
And then he immediately starts drinking out of the flask. That's not in the book either.
Right.
immediately.
Right.
I guess it's harder seeing the movies, reading the books also. It's a double-edged sword because on the one hand...
You have expectations.
I have because I'm like, you're giving it all away. And him, on the other hand,
Thomas, he's like, yeah, that works for me.
Right?
Yeah.
But...
I mean, it didn't.
Well, it didn't entirely work, but...
Right, but I'm over here thinking...
We'll go into my feelings on his character in a little bit, but...
Yeah, but I felt like it was, like, making it clearly obvious right away. Like, obviously he's drinking something because he's drinking it all the time, and he's not acting like he's drunk. Well, I guess some alcoholics just drink all day.
Right.
They don't act
He
drunk.
was clearly odd, but...
Right.
Yeah, so that was Moody's arrival. And then we continued with the awkwardness. What felt awkward to me was the whole explanation about the tournament and the goblet. That whole, like, Dumbledore's whole speech felt very awkward to me. Like, the pacing and, like, his feeling during, like...
His like, the way that he spoke was really odd to me. And I was like, maybe I read this weird in the book too different. And I was like, maybe he doesn't want to have the Triwizard Tournament, and I just, like, misinterpreted it in the book. The
way he reads his lines throughout this whole movie is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And
it seemed like a big. It seemed like there was a big shift between Harry Potter 3 Dumbledore, and Harry Potter 4 Dumbledore.
Where
Harry Potter 3 Dumbledore was just trying to stall a guy by telling him how long his name is.
Right.
In this movie, he's like, "Did you put your name in the cup?"
Yeah, seriously. He's way more. He's more intense.
We'll get into that right now because that is the quintessential scene that Harry Potter fans refer to. I mean, that's the moment that we're like.
Dumbledore kind of loses his chill in this movie.
Dumbledore is super not chill in this movie. And Dumbledore, you don't really understand why he's feeling the way he seems to be feeling. Like, he seems very aggressive about most things.
Like he doesn't want the tournament he seems like he's doing the tournament because he has to, but he thinks this shouldn't be a thing anymore.
Right.
Is kind of what is what his vibe feels like for me in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unnecessarily confrontational.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to, did you put your name in the cup? Can we talk about the goblet?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I skipped ahead a second. Mm-hmm. A little bit. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not.
Because that was the perfect example. Of his whole demeanor.
Yes,
it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can go back to him explaining the tournament. Because I honestly didn't have an issue with it at this point.
Right.
I had an issue with him because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
so I was listening to him explain the thing.
So we are introduced to the goblet itself, which is where eligible students, meaning over the age of 17, are able to sign up to compete in the competition.
Mm-hmm. So it seemed like this was a new rule that you had to be over 17 to get in.
Yes.
I believe
Does this mean that previously 8-year-olds have been signing up for this tournament and dying?
Probably. They mentioned.
I think there was probably an age restriction on it, but it was probably like 13 or 14. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The youngest kid at Hogwarts is 11.
Okay. It just because Harry's 14 and Harry was 14 and it was their 4th year.
Yeah. Still not great.
Okay.
Yeah.
That math is 10. So
exactly. Good job.
That was a little what I like to call reverse hyperbole.
So in the book, when they're like, and I put it's an age limit and you have to be 17 and blah 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 17, I texted Jess and I'm like, oh no, they put an age limit on the Goblet of Fire. Surely Harry's name won't somehow end up in there. Oh no, what will this book possibly be about? Will we just be bystanders simply watching the Triwizard Tournament? And that's this
Harry
book?
Potter and the Goblet that my name wasn't in. Don't even worry about it.
Harry Potter in my 4th boring year at Hogwarts. So this whole build up to this whole section of the book, I was just this whole part with I meant to say earlier, I loved Fred and George in this book so much.
Right?
And what I said
I knew you would fall in love
I know.
with them.
I love them so much. And I said to Thomas at the beginning of like this kind of part of the book, this part of the movie, because they skipped the whole part at the Weasleys where you got to really see a lot of them. I was like, I really hope they do Fred and George solid. I'm like, because I really like them in this book. And I'm like, and if they don't really start, because at this part is where they start to be really funny too. So I did like that they did like the aging.
They did give them a moment, yeah.
But and they did have a couple of parts that
they
made
were
me,
mostly
like,
reduced to like one-liners, but yes, they're pretty awesome in this book.
Yeah. I don't remember the point of that or what I was going to say about that now. Damn.
The Goblet. We were talking about the Goblet and the age restriction, and everybody being told about the age restriction.
I wasn't sure how his name was going to get in there, but I was wondering the whole time, and what his name was called. I was like, obviously. But then I was like, but how? And I actually thought, my first thought was that Dumbledore actually put his name in there, maybe. I thought maybe Dumbledore did it. Because Dumbledore in the book...
I think my first thought was that Snape did it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I did think Snape at first, too. He was one of my other first ones, because Dumbledore doesn't act mad at Harry in the book. No. When he does it...
Dumbledore's super chill.
He's really chill about it, and he doesn't even say, like...
And he's, like, very supportive of Harry.
Yeah, he's like, why did you put your name in there? He's very, like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw the post that I posted, and it's literally just, Harry, did you do this? No. And then he's like, okay, well, we need to figure out how this happened.
Yeah.
But I believe you. Yeah. So stupid. So stupid.
Yeah.
So while we're being introduced to the Goblet that night, we get the first terrible red herring that they try to throw at you. And you probably don't even remember it happening, because that's how badly they did it. The Durmstrang headmaster, Karkaroff, goes into the Goblet, the room where the Goblet's being held, and mysteriously closes the door behind him, looking
Oh, is
shady.
that what that was? I was really confused on what that was.
They are trying to set up for you to believe that Karkaroff has put Harry's name in there when it comes to it.
That was when I said to you, I'm like, was that serious just then? Because that right before that, Harry sent a owl to...
I don't remember that happening at all.
Yeah, it's the leader of the Durmstrang school, and they're kind of trying to point you, like, once Harry's name does get called, you're supposed to be like, a few scenes back, this guy tampered with the Goblet. Maybe it was him. But they did such a bad job, and they don't do any follow-up whatsoever that it goes nowhere. Plus, they're beating you over the head with Barty Crouch and Polyjuice shit. There's just no way that you even sort of think it's this guy.
Yeah, I didn't really have any suspicion. First of all, he seemed too obvious.
Right.
Like, let's get this Russian-ass looking guy and make him look kind of act shady, because no Russian guys have ever looked shady in a movie.
Right. He's even shadier in the book.
This is too obvious.
Nobody really trusts him in the book.
Yeah.
And I don't think you really find out why until you see the memory of his trial. But yeah, everyone kind of steers clear of them, and everybody's kind of intimidated by the Durmstrang students in general, because Durmstrang, as it turns out, has churned out quite a few Death Eaters in the past. So, so there's a bit of a stigma there. And the Beauxbaton students don't want to be there because the school is low class in their opinion. They're used to their fancy French school.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be there. And nobody wants Durmstrang there. So it's kind of, it really, like, the whole bringing them together thing is more significant. Whereas here in the book, everybody seems to get along already.
Yeah.
So it's like, why the fuck are we doing this? In the movie, did I say in the book? Everybody gets along, whatever. You know what I mean. So we have our Defense Against the Dark Arts class, I think is the first class we go to.
It's like the only class we go to.
It's pretty much the only class we go to. We do this kind of during the whole, like, people are able to enter their names in and stuff like this. This is before the announcements are made.
They explain the 3 curses.
Right, yes. So they've changed, like, little things here and there about that lesson that don't bother me that much. Like, just, little details.
Don't they teach Harry? Don't they spend the lesson actually teaching them how to reverse this curses?
So that's one of the changes. The Imperious curse, which
that's the dominate one.
That is the one that essentially mind controls you.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they displayed it well in the movie because to me it just looked like looks like you're levitating the spider. It doesn't look like the spider's actually doing anything that you're telling it to do. It even looked like it was fighting against what he was, like gravity and what he was doing and stuff. It just looked like he was bouncing it around. So I don't feel like they did a great job of explaining it and portraying it.
Right.
I mean, I got it. So.
Okay, good. I mean, you kind of feel
I told you too.
You kind of feel it when he's like, they're laughing about it, and then he's like, "What if I make her drown herself?" And like all of a sudden, your stomach just kind of drops out, and you're like, "Oh, okay, right. All right, wow,
that went dark, yay."
But in the book, he casts that spell on students.
Oh.
During the class, and teaches them how to break the control over their mind, which is highly illegal because obviously you cannot be casting these curses.
They're called unforgivable curses for a reason.
So when Hermione is like, "I don't think this is cool what he's doing," there's a really good reason for it. He's fucking casting spells on students. And also, Neville is obviously very affected by the Crucio curse display. But they do not explain why in the movie. So Neville's parents were essentially resistance fighters, basically, against Voldemort. And a group of Death Eaters tortured them using that curse. And
that's the torture one?
The torture one, yeah. So that's why Neville is so affected, deeply affected by this. And in fact, later you find out that Barty Crouch Jr., or David Tennant's character, was one of the wizards who did this, which just makes that scene even more twisted once you realize what's going on. At the end, after it's all explained, you're like, oh, what a bastard.
Right.
So that was the Defense Against the Dark Arts class. We then go to the Goblet of Fire again. The twins try and fail. The winners are announced. And
the boys are funny. Like, they're funny at the beginning of the scene, but once they get aged and they start,
they
like,
would
fighting,
never fight.
Yeah, I was like, that's stupid. I don't feel like
they wouldn't fight at all.
No. So, yeah, then we call the names.
And then we get...
And what?
What a Cal Surprise! Harry's name comes out.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then we get the legendary...
Yeah.
Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Well, he's charging full blast. He basically, like, chokeholds Harry.
Yeah.
And is like, did you fucking do this? And Harry's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on? It's an unsettling scene, to say the least. That's kind of where you're like, okay, whoa, where did my favorite Dumbledore go?
Right.
I did seem like, I guess I wasn't 100% understanding what the point of the tournament was, because I was like, well, so now Hogwarts has 2 champions and the other ones have 1. This seems unfair.
Right.
I was assuming because it seemed like the Goblet had done it, like the Sorting Hat or sentient magic items, that it had just basically rigged the game in Hogwarts' favor.
Gotcha.
Like Dumbledore likes to do.
Why did Okay, so if Moody did it,
Look, Gryffindor has to win, and Cedric is a Hufflepuff, so we gotta get a fucking Gryffindor in there. Because otherwise, how?
Yeah.
They don't mention arbitrary points in this movie at all, but they do a lot in this book. Because I text Jessica every time, and I'm like, "Who is keeping track of these points, and how? How
Jesus.
do they know? How do they know?"
Lord knows.
Wizard Jesus knows.
Wizard Jesus. If Moody's the one Moody is the one that did it, why did Cedric's name get called at all? Like, why didn't it just call the champion? Why wasn't Harry just the third champion from Hogwarts?
There's a couple plot holes in this book.
That's a big one.
That is a big one. Do you want to know the other big one?
What?
And it's something that Dominic mentions in his thing, so you'll hear it.
Is it because there's 4 wizards, it should be called the Quad Wizard Cup?
No. No. It is the fact that when we see Voldemort at the beginning of the movie, he's ready to go. He's prepared. He's ready for this whole spell to go down.
Uh-huh.
So why the fuck doesn't Moody just hand Harry like a book or a quill or something at the beginning of the school year and portkey his ass to that graveyard?
Yeah, really.
Because then we wouldn't have Harry Potter and the Goblet that I did.
J.K.
put my name
Rowling.
in it. Don't even worry about it.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. So, I
Because
mean,
apparently a boot can be a portkey. He could have just walked up to him. Could have just walked up to him and kicked him.
It's true.
Kicked him into Voldemort's living room.
Wow, Thomas. You're precious to me. Oh my goodness.
Oh, goodness gracious. So this is where Ron starts to get his pouty, angry, hateful look.
I have a quote here that I would like to share with everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's when they start with their fight here.
Yes.
And Ron's like, "What happened tonight?" And Harry goes, "I don't know what happened tonight. I just wanted to." And then I finish the quote with, "Do nothing this whole book."
Yeah.
Just do nothing this time.
So what the fuck crawled up Ron's ass? Why is it being a fucking douche all of a sudden?
Look, he's kind of a douche like this in the book. Like, he's really an ass. Like, he's just super over Harry being the golden child.
Yep.
He wants to experience some of the glory.
Yeah. Tom, as soon as Ron got mad, he was like, what is wrong? I'm like, this is the whole book.
Well, and also it's because his face looks so fucking like rage filled, and you're like,
it comes out of nowhere.
Comes out of nowhere
in the
yeah.
movie, because they're up until this point they're best friends.
It comes out of nowhere in the book as well. All of a sudden, like, Ron is pissed at Harry, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay.
It's not like Ron doesn't get to accompany Harry in all of his adventures.
Right. Yeah, it's like part of it is that he's upset that he thinks that Harry like found a way to do this, and that he didn't first of all tell Ron like, "Hey, I'm going to do this thing. Let's fucking do it."
Totally would have.
And right. And then also didn't like tell Ron how to do it so that Ron could also put his name into the thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's just like, yet again, of course, it's Harry fucking Potter gets to do all the special shit, and Ron has to sit on the sidelines and fucking hold his hand.
Yep.
It's like he's just like over it.
It doesn't fit his character. It doesn't fit his character.
Yeah.
It doesn't come naturally from anywhere.
No.
And he's annoying.
Yeah.
When he's like this.
He is in the book too.
And they like when they're having Hermione do their whole like middleman thing.
Game, yeah.
I'm like, just fucking.
When that part happened, and Ron, I was like, why didn't Ron even come?
Right.
Like, why didn't he even come there? Why didn't Hermione just come over and just be like, Hagrid wants to see you?
Yeah. So then we get a random smattering of weird side shit that happens before and so we get an interview
with a highly unethical reporter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Rita Skeeter in that tiny little closet.
I just realized
What?
that they didn't do the whole Rita Skeeter thing.
They didn't do the whole Rita Skeeter
thing. I just now realizing that they started with her and they didn't finish her.
Yeah, it was kind of sad because her character is, I mean, she's infuriating, but she's also kind of funny. And after that, Sirius sends an owl. Telling Harry to meet him.
Neville
in the...
Longbottom is hot now.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Holy Moses.
Yeah. Sorry, Thomas. This is very important.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he grew the fuck up. So Sirius sends an owl telling Harry to like meet him in the Gryffindor common room that night. So we meet Sirius in the fire
pit,
in the really good special effects.
That's a real
fire.
good CG.
I don't even remember essentially he tells Sirius that he's been having these dreams about Voldemort and this weird guy killing this old guy in this house, and he's like, is it a nightmare? And Sirius is like, I don't know, don't worry about it. And it's like, why did we have this conversation?
I remember it really not resolving to anything.
Yeah, it really didn't do anything.
It doesn't in the book either.
It was just their excuse of being like, oh shit,
Sirius
exists.
is here too.
Remember that Sirius exists? Remember how cool we all think he is? So then we have this weird scene with Neville and Harry by the lake just talking about... It's like kind of trying to set up that Neville is getting like super into the herbology.
Yeah. It's a filler because Dobby's not in the book to give him the gillyweed.
Right.
And
I literally like this whole section I just titled Weird Side Shit That Goes Nowhere. Like it's all just little scenes that kind of sort of could be leading up to something, but then it just ultimately they don't follow through with it.
I mean, the gillyweed thing kind of goes... I mean, it doesn't go back to Neville at all, but it kind of steers something.
Then we played the stupid telephone game with Ron.
Ugh, so dumb. Everything that happens with Ron is dumb.
We see the dragons.
Ron is dumb in this movie.
Ron is kind of dumb in this movie.
He's like my favorite. He's one of. I know. He's my favorite of the three.
I know.
From the other movies, and you just make him dumb in this movie.
I know.
Stupid.
Yeah.
We watch. Yeah, they play telephone, and then we watch him under the invisibility cloak while Hagrid tries to.
Yes, here there be dragons.
Oh yeah, I do like when Hagrid flirts with what's her name. It was like, somebody's having fun.
Cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go and see the dragons.
Yep.
And we tell. Yeah, this is the scene where we go to tell Cedric. And we see all the pins and everybody's being a real douche to Harry.
And this is when Malfoy's in a tree.
Yes. And so we tell Cedric, and Cedric decides that Harry's cool. And in this book, they are not as buddy-buddy as they were shown in the movie because Harry dislikes Cedric because Cedric is actually... Not just going to the dance with Cho Chang. He's dating Cho Chang this whole school year.
Okay.
And Harry likes Cho. So he tells Cedric, despite the fact that he dislikes him. And then Cedric is like, I guess you're cool, Harry. And
Harry went back at
yeah. And I'm going to go tell...
Very said word of him.
Said word.
God damn it.
They're not buddy-buddy in this book, but I will say that they make Cedric very nice. I feel like
he's a Hufflepuff. Yeah.
They make him seem very nice.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
I'll say I didn't hate him in this movie.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job in the movie too.
I don't feel like in the movie they made him seem as... I didn't feel as loved. I didn't love him as much.
They didn't develop him as you don't get as much of him as you want.
As we'll go.
And so then Cedric agrees to go tell the other two contenders. And so then we get ferret time, which is pretty great. I mean,
I did enjoy it.
It's pretty classic.
I enjoyed it in the book. I enjoyed it in the movie.
Yeah.
I enjoyed when McGonagall says to him, like, you know you're not supposed
Hi,
to do
we
that.
can't transfigure students. And
he's
he's like, oh, my bad.
Right. Right. This is when Thomas, though, is just like, so is he supposed to be like the comic relief or not? Because I'm really confused.
This is when I was really starting. I had not liked the character before this, but I was like, first of all, I didn't know that he was supposed to be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. No,
I
you're
was
not
just
supposed
like,
to know.
I didn't like his character because I feel like they couldn't decide if they wanted to make him the grizzled old man or the comic relief. And I feel like they were trying to do both with him.
That's
and
fair.
Those don't go together.
Right. I think that it was supposed to be less of like being a comedic relief moment and more of this is somebody who's on Harry's side because he's willing to stick up against. He's willing to be a real dickbag to fucking Malfoy and, you know, whoever else is causing problems for Harry. And so you're supposed to feel like he's on Harry's side. But, I mean, they take it to a real extreme.
Yep.
It feels more natural to his character in the book, I will say that. So we get to the first task. Shit.
Which was very like, oh, by the way, this is what we're doing. I kind of explained this part to Thomas in the book because when the task was happening and he gets his firebolt, he's like, who
There is a
fuck?
very brief moment.
Yeah.
Where he's like, how are you going to take care of this dragon? Essentially. And Harry's like, well, I don't fucking know. All I can have is my wand. And he was like, what are you good at? What are your strengths? You have to play to your strengths. And he's like, I'm good at flying, but I can only have my wand. And he's like, exactly, you can have your wand. And it's supposed to be like that. You can use your wand to get the flying device to you. Because we have a spell that can bring
There needed to be a little bit more in between.
Yeah, they're dead. They're definitely dead.
They're mentioning that offhanded and him summoning his broom.
Yeah. So I told Thomas that him and Hermione literally worked for like 3 weeks on a summoning spell. And that's how he got there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a neat little wrap up in the book where he artfully dodges the dragon and gets his egg. And
it's very
oddly enough, we don't break free and chase a.
They really drag it out. In the movie.
Really dragging it out.
I don't think he realized he did it.
I did not.
No. I heard it when you heard it.
I gave you that one. You asshole.
This chase just goes on and on.
They don't chase.
They continue the theme of the whole tournament where they have activities in places where the audience can't see them.
Yeah, Thomas was like, so nobody can see the dragon.
So I guess I'll just jump to the next video clip because it's relevant right now. Oh, shit. All right. Yep. Indeed. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Why make it a spectator sport and then not let the audience be able to see what's happening?
Yeah. Well, in that one, it's not an issue. But
well, in the dragon one, like even in the dragon one, it
in the movie,
normally, if it had happened in the arena, yeah, sure. But he takes this dragon on a joyride around the entirety of Hogwarts.
They fucking Marvel movie just destroy half the school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thomas, they're like, was ruining those roof shingles. Those are probably really expensive pieces of roof. It was probably old as shit.
And then break down that whole bridge.
Right. And the dragon knows how to fly. Like, why is he on the roof?
Why is he scrabbling on rooftops if he has wings?
Like, why isn't he just like...
Like I told Nikki, he suddenly remembered he's afraid of
fire. He's a real dumb dragon.
Yeah, that's a dumb... I will say that is a scene where I was rather disappointed that they extended that further. It didn't need to be. It didn't need to be. So then we have the build up to the Yule Ball.
Which another moment I really enjoyed about this, I really liked Fred or George, whichever one of them like goes to ask the
Angelina
girl. Oh my god.
You, me.
Perfect.
So when do we become friends with Ron again? Is it soon? I feel like it's coming
it's
up.
right after.
It is right after the dragon, because he realizes that there's no way that Harry could have been that crazy to sign himself up for tasks that would have potentially killed him.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
so now we're just friends again.
Now we're cool
and
again.
it's fine.
Now we're bros.
We're fine.
And
Don't
that's
worry about it.
Not a big deal. We weren't even mad. Let's just not talk about it.
Wow. What was the point of all of that?
That's why we're not going to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's it.
I could shorten the title. It's Harry Potter and don't even worry about it.
Right. Sometimes, Thomas, fights happen, and what's important is that you just move on and we just pretend
What's
that
important
nothing
is
ever
that you pretend that nothing happened and you let everything fester and it's fine.
That's fine.
That's great. Okay.
It's fine. Everything, just move on like we're all still friends. And
now we're
nothing
just going to
ever
move on and treat Hermione like crap some more.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yes, now we can unite and be bros against Hermione.
yeah.
Yeah, so the whole dancing, like teaching dancing thing isn't a thing in the book.
Super
and it's
not a thing in the book.
unnecessary. And the being real dicks about trying to find a date for the ball is a thing in the book.
Yeah.
But it's also unnecessary.
Yep. It was very confusing in the book versus the movie because I was under the impression that all of the students, girls included, wore dress robes to the dance, that the girls weren't wearing pretty dresses to the dances, that everybody was wearing like a different version of their Hogwarts robe, basically like a dressier version of their Hogwarts robe. So I was really confused when we got to the dance and everybody had like their hair done. I mean, they mentioned the girls having their hair done in the books, but they didn't mention like their dresses.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody just wears dress robes. And it's possible that like for the women, maybe they're a little bit more colorful or a little bit more embellished, but yeah,
I was definitely under the impression that everybody was in dress robes.
Well,
like
don't
the
you know
girls.
we get to just wear street clothes. We just get to wear muggle
Very
clothes.
confusing.
No, we don't you don't have to wear uniforms anymore at Hogwarts.
Right.
So now we get to the second task. And
So
like the leading up to it with like the whole bath time thing, because that literally happens like a day before essentially.
So
great.
In the book, they definitely make it very known that a ton of time has passed between this first and the second task. That it's like months. That like the first task happens in like October and the second task is happening around like Valentine's Day or something like that. Like, and he has this egg this entire time, and Harry has done nothing to even look into it, to even figure it out. And he doesn't even really seem to care. And then Cedric gives him the clue at the Yule Ball to take the egg. He goes, go swim with. A couple of more weeks pass. And then it's like the day before the task. And he's like, oh yeah, I should probably go look into this egg thing. Like he didn't do it like the next day.
It's also seemed a little weird to me that Harry Potter seemed completely disinterested in doing anything with the clue.
Yeah.
Until somebody gave him the answer to it.
Yeah, he certainly was not interested. And then I'll go into what's also annoying. Can I do the other annoying, the time thing? Like sorry.
No, you're fine.
Sorry.
It's okay.
This part was just really, like, this whole task was just extra annoying. What they said at the beginning of the very first task, they didn't say this in the movie. They say every single one of these tasks, they have a bunch of the teachers and everything. They're all there. Nothing's going to happen to them. Everybody's safe. Harry having to go underwater, and he, like, wants to save everybody. It's so dumb to me because I'm like, your task is literally to save just this one person, and they're under a spell. It's only an hour. There's no way in hell that Hogwarts teachers were going to let these other students be put under the spell just to die underwater. Like, what the fuck?
That did seem a little weird.
Stupid Harry Potter, are you stupid?
That they're just going to let these students die.
Yeah. So Harry was just like extra, like this whole section of the book, like Harry was just like super stupid annoyed. That's all I wanted to say about this. Go on now.
Okay, I'm glad you got that off your chest.
Thank you.
Just one more in the book moment.
It's okay, you're allowed to. I just did it for 10 minutes.
It's okay. I just don't want Thomas to lose interest. But in the book, Percy is filling in for Barty Crouch hosting this task because Barty Crouch is sick. He's home ill. So what's really happening, Voldemort and Wormtail, at the beginning of this whole shindig have put Bartimaeus Crouch under the Imperious Curse, and they are mind controlling him. So he is under their influence during this whole hosting the Triwizard Tournament thing. Him getting sick is he's actually starting to break free of the mind control. They're losing control over him. And so they're keeping him at home under lock and key so that he can't, break free and tell people what the fuck's been going on. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's not there, or why he's supposed to not be there in the book. And so the whole conversation that Harry has with him in the woods after the task is not supposed to happen. And so in the movie, it's really weird because it feels like it's like, why are we having this conversation? You feel like it's going to lead somewhere, and then he's just like, oh, well, I know that you've had a hard life. And then that's it. Thanks,
Barty.
But he meets Moody, and then Moody does this weird little tongue flick, and Bartimaeus Crouch goes, and like his eyes get big, and he gets all like weirded out, and then he scuffles away, and then literally the next scene we stumble across his dead body, and it's like, seems it again to me at least, it felt blatantly obvious that we're setting up that Moody had something to do with this, and. So I didn't like that they changed. I mean, I get obviously Percy wasn't there.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, really?
So I saw when they had the conversation and Barty looked at him really weird. Mm-hmm. I missed what Moody did that made him go, but I didn't want to rewind it and give away to Thomas.
Yeah,
that
I mean, obviously happened. At that point you're not supposed to know that that's his son or whatever.
And
but
so me being me, realized I'm like, oh, he must realize that that's his son. But I didn't put two and two together that he killed him when I showed him the next part.
I figured that you're not supposed to know that there's necessarily a connection, but it's clearly they're reacting to each other over something, and that's the last guy that Barty Crouch saw, so probably the one that killed him.
Probably that guy did it.
In the book, Victor Crumb and Harry are walking in the woods, and Barty Crouch is wandering around alive, but he's acting fucking crazy because he's sort of still under mind control, but he's going in and out of consciousness, and so he's just saying random fucking things. And Harry's like, you stay with him and I'm gonna go get help. And so he goes and gets Snape and Moody and Dumbledore, I think, and by the time they all get there, Crumb is knocked out and Barty Crouch is dead. So we find Barty Crouch dead in the woods, and Harry is brought up to Dumbledore's office. And while the adults go off and talk about adult things, Harry is left to his own devices in Dumbledore's cool office. And of course he fucks something up and he gets into the pensieve.
Yeah, that did seem really weird. When they're all talking in Dumbledore's office, and then Harry Potter shows up, and they're all like, "Oh, let's give you the room."
Right.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just be like, "Can you just wait in the hall a minute?"
Where are you gonna go talk? The Great Hall where 50 other students are now?
Yeah, the cafeteria.
Yeah, the Wizarding
the Wizarding World of the cafeteria.
Yeah, it seemed weird because it seemed like they're all talking in Dumbledore's office.
Where's more private than that?
Harry Potter shows up, and they're all like, "Oh, please take my office." And they go to somewhere else to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
And they just leave Harry Potter alone in the supposedly the most powerful wizard around office. Just shit everywhere. Who knows what it does?
Well,
and Harry Potter is stupid.
He is stupid. And
he's gonna fucking kill himself.
He has to stupidly put his face in this bowl of water and look at Dumbledore's memories.
Yep. He's lucky it didn't kill him.
Yeah, he is. Some of us wish it had. So Harry Potter puts his stupid face in this bowl of water.
It's the sparkly water here.
Oh, before we get to this, when Snape confronts Harry Potter, and we find out that the dillyweed came from Snape's stash.
Oh yeah.
I thought because Neville got the dillyweed for Harry, Whatever. Gillyweed.
I know you don't care.
I was thinking dill. Whatever.
Dill pickles.
Dillweed. Whatever. Anyway, because Neville got the gillyweed for Harry, and obviously got it from Snape's stash, and then Snape mentioned ingredients for polyjuice, I thought something was up with Neville. So I wrote down, why is Neville making polyjuice?
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know if that was supposed to be a red herring.
I don't know.
Or what?
It ended up being one.
It ended up being a red herring.
Great.
But I was like, that's interesting.
You made up your own red herring,
yeah.
Tom. The writers thank you because they did a terrible job of doing their own.
Yeah. It didn't end up going anywhere because apparently it wasn't a thing. But
I mean, hey, as long as you were surprised, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So Harry sticks his face in this bowl of water for no fucking reason. And so we learn that Russian guy, Karakov, was a former Death Eater.
Yeah.
He also, if you caught it, mentions that Snape was a former Death Eater, now turned spy for Dumbledore.
Yep. Apparently Snape was a double agent for Dumbledore, and then he left, and now he's at the school, and now he's no more a Death Eater than Dumbledore is.
Now that is the case.
Exactly. Yes.
So,
which I think is the first time we hear that Snape is a.
I think
Snape
you're
used
right.
to be a Death Eater because you guys told me that.
You are correct. Yeah, I accidentally let it slip because I thought it happened in the third book, but it was this book.
Yeah, and I was
cut that out of our last episode, so. So nobody knows that I fucked it up for you. So you sound like a little asshole now.
What's funny is when I listened to that episode, I was like, I swear to God, she gave me a big spoiler thing.
I was honestly hoping that if I cut it so that you couldn't rehear it, I was hoping that you would forget it.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh, it's a surprise.
Nope. I remembered. No.
So then we also see he j'accuse Barty Crouch Jr. And it's a huge fucking deal. There's literally a physical shenanigan over the whole thing. They make a huge deal out of it.
Yeah.
Yet again, drawing attention to Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
And in the book, it's a group of Death Eaters, Voldemort's right-hand bitch, Bellatrix Lestrange, and her husband, and somebody else, and Barty Crouch Jr. are all under trial. And they're on trial for torturing the Longbottoms. He gets sent to Azkaban, or all four of them get sent to Azkaban. So then we get to the third trial. Again, we don't really need to go into too much as far as the maze goes, but just know that in the book, the maze... it's actually super dope.
It's way cool in the book.
Yeah.
Way cool
There's
in the
a fucking sphinx, and they have to solve a riddle to get past it. Mm-hmm. There's blast-ended scroots. Mm-hmm. There's
a thing that makes Harry go upside down, and he's walking upside down or something, which I was really looking forward to see how they were going to film. I was like, ooh, that would be really
Harry
cool.
gets attacked by a giant spider. And
I was going to say, I'm like, isn't there a spider too?
Yeah.
Because when you said giant sphinx, I was like, I thought it was giant spider.
So just know that there actually cool shit happens, and it's not just hedges that move.
And vines.
Oh, no.
Right. I was like, yeah, this is when I started to get kind of a lot more disappointed in the movie.
I also thought it was kind of weird that they had them all going in different entrances in the maze, and they all just end up
at the same
together. Running together. Cool.
So the super cool hedge maze happens, and so we get to the graveyard, and
things escalate very quickly.
It goes from 0 to 100 real fast.
Really fast.
Even faster in the book.
Yeah.
It's Cedric's death is as soon as...
Ask her, because I
don't even think you realize that Voldemort is there.
No.
You're just all of a sudden you hear Avada Kedavra, and then he's dead, and you're like,
she and I...
Sorry, what?
She and I were somewhere we had a gig together, and we went to go have sushi, and I went to come into the restaurant, and she was like, what were you doing? I was like, oh, I was listening to Harry Potter in the car. And she goes, oh, yeah, what party you at? I'm like, oh, they're about to finish the maze. And Jess goes, it's about to get so good. And I was like, okay. And so,
it's about to turn into an adult book, like with a page flip.
And like I started driving home and I'm listening and like it literally goes like port key and then it says kill the spare and then you hear and it says like thud and it says and then Cedric's body was lying there lifeless. And I literally Mean Girls in the car while I was driving. And I was getting on the on-ramp to get on 96. And I literally, in all caps, sent to Jessica, first of all, I sent her the gif of Mean Girls. And then I said, Cedric, in all caps to her. And she was like, I know! And I was like, oh my God. And I like...
It doesn't even give you time to take it in.
No.
It's just like, kill the spare. Thump. Harry looks over and he's like, wait a second, is he? And then we just keep going, and you're just kind of like, what?
You remember I came home from the gig that night, and I was like, I'm in a really good part of the book right now. And then, like, he would, like, come in the kitchen, and I was listening. I'm like, go away, I'm listening right now.
I refuse to stop listening, so you need to stop existing in our house right now.
And I was like, I need to take a shower. I'm going to go listen to Harry Potter. Goodbye. Yeah. Anyway.
Things dial up real fast.
Yeah, so I listened to, like, this last 3 hours of the book, like, really quickly because I was like super
I said it got good.
So I have a note of this escalated quickly, which is when Voldemort shows up, and then I have my next quote is, why would the cup bring them here? Because
congratulations, one of you gets to die.
Why would the cup bring you? Congratulations, you win the Triwizard Tournament and one of you dies. I said one of you gets to win.
So apparently the port key thing wasn't explained very well.
Not. That's amazing. Thank you, Thomas.
Why would the cup bring you here?
Well, this is a really bad prize.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So I'd like to start off with creepy baby Voldemort.
Yeah, creepy baby
so
Voldemort.
Freaking, and it sounded creepy in the book too. I was like, what what are they describing? And I was like,
no,
even in the
you.
book, I was like, that sounds really yucky.
Check, please.
Right? No, thank you. And I was glad that it was over very quickly. Like, I'm glad that it did. It seemed like it was going to be a much longer lingering situation than it was. So I was glad that it was over a lot quicker than I thought. But his transformation was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Like, the spell was interesting.
And it was cool. It was a cool yeah.
Well, it was a little ridiculous, so he chopped off his hand. Whatever.
He said a willing sacrifice, to be fair.
I thought he was going to like cut off. I thought he was going to cut off. I thought he was going to cut off his thumb or something.
Right.
Nope. And
and then the fact that the blood sacrifice from the enemy, they just did like a little drop of blood.
Well, I assume that Voldemort, because he wanted to fight Harry.
He wanted to be the one to kill Harry, yeah.
Well, not only, but I think he wanted to be able to fight Harry at Harry's most... He didn't want to fight a weak, dying Harry. He wanted to fight Harry. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
Even though
he wanted to feel like a big weird snake man about it, yeah.
So... I've seen like what Voldemort has looked like before. Like I've seen it in gifs and stuff. Not like, and I've purposely looked away because I didn't want, because I was like, I'm going to read these books one day and I don't want to give it away. Okay. Like when I've seen like Harry Potter stuff, I'm like, I don't want to know because I'm going to read the books one day. And that's been my attitude like this whole time. Uh-huh. So I've seen little things that I don't know that I know. So like I said, I know some things that I wish I didn't know. But even so, he looks really cool. I did not care for his mannerisms. I felt like the way that he moved his body when he was in the graveyard and like walking around, like the way that he moved his arms and his head and stuff, he just moved really weird to me, and it didn't come across as snake-like to me.
It didn't seem like he was moving. He seemed like he wasn't moving as deliberately as like you would think of the BBEG would move.
The BBEG.
He seemed like he was just kind of flailing around a little bit.
Whereas
you would think like the the Voldemort of the story would be like just full of confidence and being like just kind of swagger around.
That's a good.
I will say that because I want to chalk it up to the director of this movie giving weird direction to people.
There was that.
I want to give people the benefit of the doubt because we've seen Michael Gambon do Dumbledore in a much better way, and we've seen well, we haven't seen Voldemort be Voldemort yet, but again, you have like expectations for how he would, and it's not this, and so it's the more things I watch and the older I get, like the more I appreciate a bad guy who's got that just quiet, like, I don't know, that quiet intimidation. I find that more threatening than somebody who's like making big theatrical gestures and stuff. Like, can see exactly what you mean with that. So I have a question for you, Thomas, because after we're introduced to Voldemort, we have a little standoff, where we have our little wizarding Mexican standoff, and we get to experience Priori Incantatem.
Yes.
And you know what that is.
I definitely know
because
what
they
that
explained
is.
it so well in the movie.
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. That was my question. I'm not even...
He doesn't.
I don't know what you're talking
about. I know, but I wanted to see if I could get away with not doing it.
I was like, he's not going to stop us.
He's not serious. Yeah, I know. I was being sarcastic. So, did you have anything before this? Okay, did you have anything?
Except, wait.
Before
I have my...
Wait, is Harry Potter out of the restraints that look like the most poor roller coaster restraints ever? It looks like he just has to go, whoop, and like, he slipped right out.
Yeah, it really
like,
does.
I'm just like, he could just like lift his arms up and just slip right out of that. It looks really like the lamest hold there ever.
Yeah.
Like, I see that it was kind of cool, but also like, come on.
Also, really, just turn your head and then your chin's not hitting the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it.
Anyway, go on.
He's Harry Potter and he's really stupid, and we all know that.
This is when my big question is relevant. Why does Voldemort hate Harry Potter so much?
But no spoilers.
Well, shit, dude.
I told him we don't know yet. Like, because we don't know in the book really yet. I just know that
we're just supposed to accept it for now.
Like, from what I gather in the book, it's because he couldn't kill him, and that's like what it is. Like, because he tried to kill the parents and him.
And I know that sounds like really ridiculous. He is a narcissist, like megalomaniac, like completely full of himself. He is God in his mind.
Okay.
And so Dumbledore and Harry Potter are the only two people on the face of the planet who have bested him. And he hates them with every fiber of his being because of that. And it's his life mission to fucking destroy them, to prove that he is the end-all be-all best. Okay. That's really what it is. Okay. Like, he kind of gets into it, but you don't really grasp that it's because he's really that fucking fragile. Like, his ego is just...
Okay. I can accept that.
Is.
I can accept that.
Yeah.
I just didn't... The only interaction we have had between them is that Voldemort killed Harry's parents for some reason.
To get to Harry. But we don't know why.
Exactly.
So,
and then he goes on this, he has an entire monologue about how much he hates Harry Potter. Yeah. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah, that's...
What?
I mean, that's essentially it. There's a little bit more to it, but that's ultimately what it boils down to.
Okay.
And so you will find out more.
Remind me why he killed his parents. Is it because they...
Other than the fact that they are also resistance fighters against the Death Eaters, that's the reason that you know of right now.
Okay.
That's the reasoning right now.
Okay.
We don't know more than that yet.
Okay.
I will say this. You will find the next movie much more satisfying explanation-wise. Yeah. So that was your question.
That was my big question.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm glad we did that one first.
He asked me that, and I was like...
I had to pause the movie because I thought like I had missed something in the previous movies, like explanation of why it was happening.
Mm-hmm. Also, Harry's mom was Muggle-born, and Voldemort's whole thing is that wizards should be pure blood. So there's also a
so he was bested by a mudblood
racist kind of aspect to it. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So yeah. Yep, we have our duel in the graveyard, and the ghosts of the past dead appear and volunteer to help Harry. We see Harry sees Harry's parents for the first time, really, and like interacts with them for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I cry a little bit, and it's fine. And
did you?
And what?
Did you? In the movie you do?
A little bit.
Really?
A little bit.
This is the part that was like super disappointing to me in the movie.
In the book, it's super emotional. Like,
in the book?
I think what I cry at actually in the movie is Cedric asking him to take his body back.
Yes.
And knowing that whole scene is a fucking nightmare. And it's a really good scene. When Harry portkeys them back and the stands are on their feet and everybody's cheering and everybody slowly realizes
that Cedric's dead.
It's just like
so hold on before you go there. I was the string,
the wands, yes,
the wands. So the wands happens in the book, and all the shadows or whatever.
Yeah,
when they come out in the book. And, like, the parents talk to Harry and stuff like that. Like, the mom comes out first, and she's like, hang on just one more minute. Your dad's coming out next. And, like, I was like, boo! And then, like, the dad comes out, and he says something else. And I was like, boo! And, like, Cedric.
And Harry has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to explain until Dumbledore explains.
Yeah.
So, just so you know.
And then Cedric's like, take me back to my family. I'm like, oh, my God! Like, I was, like, in the shower, bawling like my fucking eyes out. Yeah, I was like crying, and I texted her because then I went somewhere. I went and I was like crying. I was texting Jess like, "This is the saddest book in the world I ever read." So I was like, in this part of the movie, I was expecting to feel like all the emotions, and I didn't get anything from this, and I was like, boo! And I was like, I was expecting to feel all the feels. And then when they got back in the port key, and then when they got to the stands and all of that, I asked him, I was like, well, they made up for the shit they just did wrong in the last scene because that just got me real good in this scene. Yeah. Okay, go ahead now. Now you can do your thing. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm glad to know your feeling.
Yeah, thank you.
I would agree with that. It was much... That whole scene was much better done, even though you have no idea exactly what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, in the book I was even like, what?
But that almost makes it like more emotional because you're like, wait, are they back? What's happening? Right. Yeah. So yeah, we get the nightmare scenario of everybody slowly realizing with like dawning horror that Cedric is dead, and his dad comes rushing down from the it's all just awful. And so Moody takes Harry away. How convenient. And locks the door behind him. And you're like, that seems unnecessary.
Wait, did you already tell Thomas the other thing you were going to tell?
No, I'm not going to explain. I'm not going to explain it to him until the end. Where
she's going to let Dumbledore do it.
I'm going to let Dumbledore explain it real good like he did in the movie. So then we get the Mad Eye Moody reveal. And you felt okay about it.
I figured it out.
No, you figured out that.
When did I figure it out?
Thomas, so when we get to the scene and we see him like struggling with the potion, Thomas was like, and I was like, oh, when did you figure out he was the bad guy? He goes, I kind of knew when, and I was like, well, when did you figure out he was what's his name? He goes, what? Like he hadn't figured out.
That's kind of what I want, because they set him up as being kind of shady. And so, like I said, even in the book, even if you sort of suspect that maybe Mad Eye Moody is the bad guy, you suspect that Mad Eye Moody is the bad guy. You don't suspect that Barty Crouch Jr. is Mad Eye Moody. Like, you don't have any idea. So I'm glad that you also didn't.
It was some point during the scene before they reveal that he is in fact polyjuiced, then I was like, oh, polyjuice.
Gotcha.
And then I was like, oh, it's the doctor's
Gotcha. Yeah.
character.
Yeah, Thomas
guy.
goes, it's the Doctor Who guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he did that super obvious tongue thing, and they made like that choice to have Mad Eye do it too.
Yeah, I was like, what's this weird tongue thing he's doing? It wasn't in the book either. Unless it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
It's to help people like me who can't figure out things on our own.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I could just experience a thing.
I liked how it was like all the professors coming in and like doing their thing and like
giving him the truth
Dumbledore
serum.
basically holds him in place, and then Snape pours the truth serum sip that he was talked about with us down his
the
throat.
The serum that you definitely got introduced to beforehand, so you know what it is. And also in the book, the Minister of Magic is there for the final task.
That's
Fudge,
right?
Fudge.
Yeah.
And he does not believe Harry that Voldemort is back. This is another little...
There's a whole other thing here, yeah.
This is another whole little seed. The seeds are being planted of doubt. I think he has like a fight with McGonagall too, because he kills such a fucking asshole.
Barty.
Because he orders the Dementor's kiss on Bartimaeus Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
Right then and there. He has a Dementor kiss him and suck his soul out.
Yeah, he gets in a fight with...
They don't call Azkaban and let them know that a guy is missing. They just straight up kill him right there. Oh, so McGonagall is like, whoa, what the fuck? What happened to like trials and shit? And so it just all... The tension is very high with the Minister of Magic, and he is like... Fuck all of you, I get to do what I want, and Voldemort's not back, and fuck you, and so that's kind of where we...
Yeah, we don't put any of that in the movie at all.
None of that is in the movie, and so it makes because that is literally where we start out in the next one, and so if you didn't know that, you'd be like, why all this animosity, guys? What's going on? Were we friends in the last one? What the fuck's going on?
We're friends!
Yeah.
So...
I wanted to point out that all of these movies have the exact same final, 4 stages formula at the end of these movies. Like, we have the big battle.
Uh-huh.
Typically, Harry wakes up in the hospital ward, but that didn't happen.
And Dumbledore gives exposition.
Hospital exposition happens from Dumbledore.
And then we leave on the train.
And then we leave on the train. And then there's freeze frame with
and half the time
Harry,
it's Hagrid.
Ron. Right, yeah.
We either celebrate Hagrid for an uncomfortably long time, or it's freeze frame on somebody. So we get our hospital exposition. Except we don't, because...
So Jessica's going to give us hospital exposition.
Here's that scene in the movie.
Because at the movie goes from the Crouch Jr. reveal and then all the kids going home, right? There's nothing in between.
And then
there,
Harry and Hermione.
Harry, after Crouch being revealed, Harry is... in the hospital? No, he's in his room. He's packing up to go home.
Dumbledore's like,
and Dumbledore comes in and he's like, I hated these curtains when I was here and stuff like that. So Dumbledore comes in and so Harry straight up goes, hey, what was that shit with my wand when I was there? Like, why did I see my mom and dad? And Dumbledore goes, Priori Incantatem. You saw your parents, didn't you? And he goes, yes. And Dumbledore was like, sick. See you next year.
That was it. He didn't explain it at all.
Sick. See you next year. I love it. It's perfect.
So, I'm going to give Dumbledore's explanation since he didn't. So, there is such a thing as a reverse spell that you can cast, and it will show you the previous spells that the wand and its user have cast.
Okay.
Priori Incantatem is a rare effect that happens when 2 wands who have the same core, and not just like they're both unicorn hair or they're both dragon heartstring. It's like the hairs have come from the same unicorn, like they are twin wands. If they are in a duel together, then this effect happens, and the winner of the duel, which is whoever has the strongest will, to win, forces the other wand to do this reverse spell. And it just continues until you do a cancellation spell, essentially. And so, since Voldemort's last spells were all killing curses, we saw the echoes of the people that he killed in reverse order. So that's why we saw Cedric and Frank and then Harry's parents. And it would have kept going, but the echoes broke the spell to go. Yeah. So that's what that is. And what that means going forward is that Harry and Voldemort cannot duel with their wands. Or it's just going to keep happening. They can't like beat each other essentially. So they have to find a workaround around that.
Interesting.
For their big final battle, basically. Yeah.
And it's not going to be punching.
Oh, no, you'd think one of them would just go get a fucking gun. But no. We all go home. And one last in the book, just because it was fun. Well, it was not just fun, but it's also the twins' future. At the World Cup,
that was sad.
Like she said, the boys have been planning to, when they grow up, open up this joke shop in like Hogsmeade or wherever. And they had savings to do it. They lost it all on a bet at the World Cup. And at the end of this, when Harry wins the tournament, he wins gold.
Okay, so he doesn't have enough of that already.
Right. Well, he does. He has plenty of it. And also he's like, I want nothing to do with this gold because it just reminds me of what happened and Cedric and all that. And it seems like dirty to have this money, essentially. And he's like, I know you guys need it. So now they have enough to open up their joke shop. So that's just a little... And
Harry tells the twins that he has to buy...
Oh, yeah.
They have to use some of their money to buy Ron new dress robes and tell them that it was their idea also to buy it.
In the future, Ron has better dress robes. We never have another dance, though, so it's fine.
Oh, that's great. So I would like to point out the oddness that Voldemort is back, and everybody is clearly a little bit alerted to this scariness. And we're just going to... And we all know that Voldemort wants to get Harry Potter, of all people in the world. Harry Potter is his number one target. And we're just going to send Harry Potter away back to the unprotected home of the Dursleys now. Like, why isn't he, like, under protection and stuff? Or... Good talk. All right.
You haven't read the next book yet.
Okay. Well, that's true.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
The Goblet of Fire. I didn't put my name in it. Don't worry about it.
The movie ends with the stupid boat and the chariot. Like, what is that chariot? You can hold, like, 5 kids in there?
It's just like the tent where there's, like, a bajillion things inside.
It's stupid.
So first, I'll ask you the non-quiz related ones.
Okay.
Would you rather be tasked with fighting a dragon, or would you rather be a teenager again, getting ready for a school dance, and like being required to find a partner?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I would take the dragon, personally.
Knowing myself when I was in high school, I would fight the dragon.
Same.
I also, high school me would have fought the dragon. I did not have good luck when it came to finding a
I did
date
not go to any dances when I was in high school because I was too scared to ask anybody.
I already took it, so you can take it on my phone.
Okay.
It must be upstairs.
I know. I've had it in my hand. I just don't.
Oh, you did?
I have seen you have it within the past 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Weird.
Wow.
I don't know. I got nothing, dude.
Hold on.
Boy, that is a sassy ringtone.
It scares Evie. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So that was our first question, and we would obviously all rather fight a dragon. Nikki, this one is directed at you because Thomas pretty much only knows one girl, and that's Hermione, and
Yep.
That's it. So, Nikki, knowing some of the characters, actually, who would you go with to the Yule Ball?
I liked the jokey. I really like Fred and
twins.
George. I would go with both of them.
Yeah, I'll take one. You take the other because that's my same answer.
I would take them. Yeah, for sure.
If we were taking part in the Triwizard Tournament and the mermaids kidnapped someone who is a treasure to you, who would they have taken?
Nikki.
Oh, wow, not your child?
I was just going to say my kids.
But good answer, Thomas.
Probably.
I did it. I got the right one.
My cat. No, my mom probably. So, quiz time.
Cool.
You guys taking them?
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Nikki,
Yes.
you just took the Pottermore quiz to find out what wand you have.
Yes.
You want to tell me what wand you have?
Yes, Jessica.
Uh-huh.
I have won, or been fitted with, the Cypress Unicorn 13.5-inch, slightly yielding.
Ooh. Does
Yep.
it tell you what does it tell you about
It
it?
says, while this core does not generally produce the strongest wands, although the wand wood may enhance its power, wands that have unicorn hair in them are the least flamboyant, decreasing its susceptibility to fluctuations and blockages. Advantages of this core are that it usually produces the most consistent magic, and that it is the most faithful to its owner of the three cores. A wand with a core of unicorn hair is harder to turn to the dark arts than a dragon heartstring and a phoenix feather, a factor that many witches and wizards like. Owners of the unicorn hair wands, Cedric Diggory, Ron Weasley, Charlie Weasley, Remus Lupin, is that Pretty Boy? And Draco Malfoy.
No, Lupin.
Lupin is the werewolf.
Yeah.
Oh, Werewolf McWerewolf. Or
Yes.
Bodie McBodie.
His name is literally Werewolf McWerewolf. Yep.
And Draco Malfoy.
Nice. All right. Tomas, tell me about your wand.
I have a wand that it's pear wood
Ooh.
with a dragon core.
Oh.
It's 14.25 inches long and it's hard.
Yeah, it is. That's what I've heard.
I like that. I like that your wand is hard, my love.
It's hard and it's also longer than ours.
This core is the most flamboyant of the three and often produces the strongest and most powerful wands. Dragon heartstrings usually favors ambitious spell casting, and as a result, the wand is more likely to turn to the dark arts than any other core.
Thomas is evil.
However, a wand that has this core will not do so of its own will. Dragon heartstring wands are loyal to their first owner, but when won, their loyalty and sensitivity will be lessened. This core produces wands that are most prone to accidents in the wrong hands, being quite temperamental at times and sometimes, albeit rarely, acting of their own accord. The wand is also susceptible to being a twin core with a reasonable quality of hardness.
There's a lot of hardness in your
So
wand.
erect, Thomas.
Who else has had your wand, love?
And it's not included in my screenshot.
Oh,
Is it
well.
underneath the other? Is it underneath the other matches?
No, it was there before you got to the other thing, so maybe you just didn't have it. What about you?
I did not write down all of that.
Oh, well, why don't you just tell us about your wand?
My wand is made of pine. It has a phoenix heartstring or a phoenix feather as the core. It's 13.75 inch, and it is pliant.
Pliant.
Oh. Phoenix was the most rare and also one of the more unpredictable cores. So
I like it.
it is sometimes known to do its own thing and cast its own spells.
Oh, I would not like that.
Yeah.
I like that mine says that it's like consistent.
Yes, exactly.
I like that. And I like that it's the unicorn. Not because I like unicorns, because kind of hate them a little bit sometimes
Yeah.
because I hate them sometimes. Painting. But I saw a thing online the other day that was like, there's helicopter moms and there's this kind of mom and that kind of mom,
Yeah,
and then there's
the
unicorn mom. Did you read
Yeah, I
that?
did.
And I was like, that is me.
Yeah.
It's the moms that don't give a fuck what other moms think
Yeah.
about you. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Fuck off. Okay.
And I think it's fairly powerful casting, but again, unpredictable. And Harry Potter,
Oh.
I believe Dumbledore, and Voldemort
Oh,
will
no.
have.
Because they're twins.
Yeah, exactly.
As you know.
So yeah,
Cool.
those are our wands.
Okay.
The more you know. I like that we all have the different.
Yeah, that's
Out of
interesting.
all the 3 cores, we each have a different one. Cool.
Right. Are those the only 3 cores?
Yeah.
Unicorn, Phoenix, and Dragon? Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of different wood types, a lot of different like length types, but yeah, there's only 3 cores. So there are 7 wizarding schools
Yeah.
in the world of Harry Potter. We met 2 new ones through this.
I meant to say that that's what I liked about this book. I didn't realize that there were other schools. I just didn't really think
You
about
don't.
it. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I like it. We're learning about other schools in this
Yeah.
book. I thought that was cool.
There are more. I didn't realize how many schools there were. I only knew of
They mentioned
the Hogwarts, Durmstrang, Beauxbaton, and Ilvermorny, and that was it. I didn't realize that there were other ones. But so there is Hogwarts, which is obviously in
The UK.
England
Scotland,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Ilvermorny, which is the U.S. one. It's in Massachusetts. Durmstrang, which there is a memory charm on it. So when you leave the grounds, you forget where it is.
Interesting.
So nobody really knows the exact whereabouts of it.
Man, they seem shady as fuck.
But it is somewhere in probably the Russia region. Beauxbaton, obviously in France. Castello Bruxo, which is in Brazil. Uagadou? I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but it's in Uganda.
Okay.
So the names are fairly similar.
Right.
And then Mahutakoro, yes, which is in Japan.
Wow.
I was going to guess Mexico or Japan. Yeah.
And so those are the 7 wizarding schools,
your
and
Beauxbaton.
we just took. I have equal parts Beauxbaton and Castello Bruxo, which is the one in Brazil. It's in the rainforest, and it is known for its zoology and herbology. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Nikki, what schools were you? Or school?
My school, my 78% match was the Uagadou.
I could see, huh?
Uagadou. It's in Uganda, like Lion King. I thought you were gonna make that joke when you said Uganda, and I was like, "Don't do it! I want to say it." They are a school that likes to teach magic with their hands and doing animagi stuff, which I'm down for.
Yeah. Most of the students learn animagus forms. It also sounded like they were some of the more. It sounded like it was a school for very determined, like very driven wizards. So I can see that.
Yes.
I can see that. Thomas, what school did you get? Did you get the Japanese one because you knew the name?
No, I have them up.
Gotcha.
I got Castello Bruxo.
Ah, cool.
What's everybody's?
My second place is tied between Uagadoa and is it Ilvermorny or Livermorny?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Ilvermorny it's the U.S. one, and it was pretty much modeled after Hogwarts. Like they have the 4 houses kind of a thing, but they're named after animals that are native to.
My second place is Beauxbaton.
Beauxbaton. Beauxbaton is.
It's the dancing one.
Yeah, you have to have an orgasm every 5 seconds. No, Beauxbaton is where Nicholas Flamel, the creator of the Sorcerer's Stone, went.
Oh, okay.
And they have a fountain outside of the school that will like provide beautification and like youthful qualities to whoever, I don't know, hangs out from it, drinks from it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but those were my fumicas.
Those were fun fumicas.
Thank you.
Fumicas.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah.
Fumicas.
I can't tell if you're still having a stroke or if that was your son.
I don't even know. All right.
All right.
It was
So,
1
yeah.
a.m.
That was Harry Potter.
1:30 a.m.
And the Goblet of Fire.
The Goblet of Fire. Hey guys, visit us on Facebook and Instagram
Thank you.
And Twitter.
I didn't know what I wanted to do there, so yep.
at Face Painting Robot. Oh, so
Nope,
sorry.
That's the wrong one.
At YPIP Podcast. You can follow the other one too. I won't be mad.
Yes. But yeah, please follow us on Instagram and you'll get updates when we get sick
Remember.
and don't post on time. You'll know.
Really?
Yeah.
Ratings?
Yeah.
Yes. I definitely.
I know you have one because
Okay.
I know you wrote it down.
I'm going to give this movie 4 mysterious goblet name pulls out of 4. That's it.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thomas.
Hang on. He's opening his notebook to the page that he wrote it down on.
Definitely wrote it down on.
I definitely remembered that we do this on our podcast.
It's fine. I knew that we did it, and I was like, I'm actively choosing not to write one down.
I
saw when I wrote mine down.
gave this movie 7 unnecessary plot threads out of a quad wizard challenge.
Quad wizard.
Perfect.
Yep.
I give this 10 blast-ended scroots that weren't in the movie out of 1. Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
we
was
did
it.
That's
We did
Harry
it.
Potter
That
4.
was Harry Potter
We did
4.
it.
Yeah.
So next we've got what do we have next?
Next
Next
should
is
be
Despicable.
Despicable Me.
Yeah.
And we possibly
What?
should have a guest star.
Yeah, because that is the what letter
That
is
is
that?
next in our
Pimism.
pimism. That's the mums. That's the That's the misha.
That's the second
The
in our
miscellaneous.
Pimism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our miscellaneous. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Miscellaneous movies. are coming up
Miscellaneous movies.
With Despicable Me.
Non-princess movies.
Let's see.
Non-princess movie.
And that means that the next Harry Potter movie will be in
Approximately 2 years.
nuh-uh.
It does feel like it.
1, 2, 3.
But we also have to give Nikki time to read, so.
No, I got time. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix should be coming out May 1st.
Cool.
We have it on here.
Yeah. So.
Oh, we played
there you
really
go.
far ahead.
It's 1:30 in the morning, and
It
we
is
sound
1:30 in the
good from
morning,
Jafar.
and- Yep, we do.
Sound
Yeah.
so good from Jafar.
We do.
Jafar.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Good night.
I love
and
you.
Farewell. Bye.
Goodbye.